Okay, laptop, presentation, microphone, coffee, sunny days and daffodils. Yes, we are ready to go with the first video in this series. So, today we are going to be covering the basics of self-defense. This is the very first in a line of hours of presentations that I'm going to be delivering to you. But let's get into this one, okay? Before we start, I really should introduce myself because obviously there does need to be a degree of credibility here. I'll try to keep it quick. I do not like to talk about myself too much. About myself. Hey, I'm Coach Gethin Rhys James. I read out the presentation. I've been training since 1999 and I'm the head coach of West Coast Taekwondo. So West Coast Taekwondo is based in Carmarthen at the moment, but we are looking to take it much further west. We are looking at expanding in the near future. I've represented Wales for 8 years. In that time, I had won 2 World Championship silver medals and 4 bronze medals in the World Championship as well. I mean, I won a lot more trophies than that, but that is my tally for World Championship events, such as WASCO and the World Taekwondo Alliance. Organisations I don't know if you heard of, maybe you have, maybe you haven't. Anyway, doesn't matter. That's where I go. And I'm a personal trainer. I specialise in athletic training, which is a field that's very popular in the US, but it hasn't really come over to the UK as of yet. Not in any large capacity anyway. Obviously, when an athlete gets injured, they have to go through their rehabilitation. Then they need to prepare themselves to get back into sport. Well, that's where I come in. I help athletes become game ready again. And through that, I've worked with academy players from Cardiff City Football Club, the Newport Gwent Dragons, Cardiff Blues, Bristol Rovers, Llanelli Scarlets, members of the Welsh Taekwondo team. The list goes on really, but that's my background, my initial background as a personal trainer. As well as that, I featured in the Western Mail, the South Wales Echo, Wales Online, which isn't in that list. WM Bride, which is Media Wales, is bridal magazine. I was not modelling the dresses. I was in fact there as a guest personal trainer, showing brides how to get ready for their wedding day, how to get in shape. I've also written for Stack.com and Breaking Muscle, which are 2 large sports conditioning websites out in the United States. West Coast Taekwondo is an initiative that serves the community of West Wales. At the time of recording this, we're only really available in Carmarthen, but we will be expanding shortly. We're a part of the Taekwondo Association of Great Britain, TAGB for short. It's Europe's largest single martial arts organisation. In fact, at this point, it may even be the world's largest single martial arts organisation. The TAGB is hugely successful. Unlike other schools, West Coast Taekwondo offers interactive webinars, such as this one, reports, and regular interaction with students. But that's something I'm really proud of. That's something that I believe sets us apart. We are all about good service. We really do push those boundaries and reach out to our members inside and outside the class. Our policy is that everyone does deserve to learn self-defense. Everyone deserves to learn self-defense. If you consider that we are DBS checked, we are all trained in inclusion as well, which means that we're here to help people who have disabilities or need extra support in school. That's very important to us. Now I think, yes, we're going to get into the meat and veg of this presentation, and we're going to start by holding a fist. Because that's a question that I get asked the most, is how do you hold a proper fist? Well, the question I get asked most online anyway, and the first thing you need to do is keep your wrist nice and flat. If your wrist is bent either way, you're going to risk fracturing your wrist. Keep your fingers together, wrap them in, grab the padding of your hand. The padding is opposite to the knuckles, just underneath the fingers. Squeeze it tight before locking it in with your thumb. At this point, we're on to step 4. You're going to see the knuckles of your hand go paler. They're going to turn more white in coloration. This is good. That means you've got a good, strong, sturdy fist. It's not going to break whilst under pressure. If you take a look at the 2 largest knuckles of your hand, that's your weapon. So you hold a fist, and if you're already in a combat scenario, you need to assume a guard. And like I said, you're already in a combat scenario, you're already in a fight. So this is what you'll do. You'll keep your fist up as high as your cheekbones. In step 2, you keep your elbows tucked in. Just like Mr. Muhammad Ali here, he's got his elbows down, protecting his floating ribs, which is exactly where they should be. You position one leg behind you. This is very important, I feel, because it actually allows you to push a lot more force into a punch, and as well as that, it keeps a stable base. It's so easy to lose your balance during a fight if you don't keep a stable base, especially when you consider that somebody is trying to strike you. Step 4 is to remain side on. So in Taekwondo, we actually encourage people to be a bit more side on than Muhammad Ali there. But let's say that you're in a scenario now where somebody's acting in an aggressive manner towards you, but they have not yet initiated a fight. Coffee sip. Now, you go into option 2, okay? You want to keep your palms open, because if you close your fist, essentially that's inviting trouble if somebody's acting aggressively towards you. Keep your palms open. Now you can keep your arms straight. You can position your hands as stomach height, and again you take one leg behind you and remain side on, just like option 1. Now if somebody does approach you, you can lift your arm up, just like this lady here on our right. And this is just a much less invasive way, a much better place to be, a much better position to put yourself in when negotiating and trying to diffuse the situation. Now, when aggression initiates, if someone is acting in an aggressive manner but has not yet attempted to strike, the option 2 guard is best, which is the one we've just seen. If the aggressor moves forward, you may subtly step back. Be polite, but insist that he does not come any closer. If he consists, you may use your arms to back him off, so you can actually lift your arms off and keep him at bay in that manner. If the aggressor comes within a few feet of you, it is perfectly justifiable to give him a good push. Guys, a push can be very, very effective. Now, this is your warning shot, and one of 2 things are going to happen here. Either he is going to back off, or he's going to get aggressive. But either way, if he's come close enough for you to push him, then the chances are he does have the intent, he does have the intention of harming you. So you want to push each shoulder. So if you try to push the center of someone's body, or if you try to push one shoulder, they can quite easily roll you off. But if you put your hand on each of their shoulders, push back hard, they will stumble back. You can use excessive force, and it's good to shout back as well. I like shouting back because it's a short, sharp word, it's instant clear intent, and it will drag other people's attention immediately. They'll know that something's up. So 1, solid push. Now, the reason why I chose this figure here, I do apologise, it's black on a very dark background, but the reason why I chose this figure is because of the leg positioning. A good stable base to help with the push. A push isn't just about the arms, it's about the legs as well. So you've given him his warning, you've pushed him away, but he keeps coming at you. Now, this thing on the right here, it's kind of bugging me because I think it's actually a World of Warcraft thing or something, because it says spell. But it does describe what a preemptive strike is pretty well. You neutralise your enemy before they attack. So you don't wait for them to strike first. They're coming at you, and you know that they're about to act in an aggressive manner. They are about to throw a punch at you. A preemptive strike is a legal initial attack that prevents an aggressor from harming you. This is perfectly justifiable. If the aggressor consistently invades your personal space, yeah, you can throw a preemptive strike, okay? It is actually justifiable in the court of law. And my favourite preemptive strike is demonstrated here by Mr. Bruce Lee, and that is the low side kick. One that Bruce Lee was actually quite popular for. So, to approach you, someone must step forward. So if somebody steps forward, the closest target is going to be their knee. You're going to use your longest weapon to exploit this, and use a downward pushing action on that knee. So your leg is your longest weapon, the closest target is their knee, you stamp down on their knee. And you can do a lot of damage here in just this one movement alone. I mean, it's unlikely they're going to be able to chase you after that. Nevertheless, you'll then do a conclusive action. After the side kick, land a strong headshot. You have many options. So I'm actually going to go through 3 options for striking the head. There's actually a lot of weapons we use in Taekwondo, but right now I'm going to show you 3 of the most popular ones. So this is the palm. This technique minimizes damage to your hand. If you think about it, a fist requires great precision. If you miss just slightly, you could end up damaging your thumb, you could end up breaking your fingers. But the odds of you damaging anything is much less greater when you use your palm. And this is a great tool against the chin and the nose right here, and in the last image we saw, it's been used against the chin, and it whacks the head back. But it's quite easy to do a lot of damage just by pushing upwards on the nose as well. The punch. To be honest with you, I do not know what the motive was for designing such an image. It looks like somebody's punching his employer. But anyway, this is better for more advanced martial artists and boxers. When you've got experience punching, it's probably a much more effective self-defense technique than the palm because you have a much narrower surface area. It's going to hurt a lot more. And it's a great tool for straight or circular attacks. If you just consider boxing, you got your jab, which is off the front arm, and your cross, which is off the back arm, and they're both straight punches. But then you have your hooks and uppercuts, which can come round at all sorts of angles. So it does open up your options much nicer. Then you have the elbow. And the elbow is ideal when you're up close and personal. The elbow in the image here is coming round the side to the jawbone, but you can also come up underneath the chin. Now you've got to note with the elbow, it can actually be a much slower technique. If you consider with a punch in the palm, you can use the inertia built by your biceps and your triceps. But with the elbow, there tends to be a lot less of that whip, and there's a lot more demand on the chest, back and shoulders to get the elbow in nice and deep. And it can be quite difficult to recover from because the technique is much slower. But it is a large, solid part of your body, and when you hit someone with your elbow, it's like whacking them with a bat. So when does it end? When you can ensure that the attack is over. Now, that means their attack against you. However, this probably means that you are going to be hitting the opponent until they are unable to hit you. Because that's the whole reason why we started this in the first place. We are trying to get them to hit you. Now, so far, the opponent hasn't actually thrown an attack at you. And that's the bare basics of it. We have completely covered the preemptive strike. Obviously in Taekwondo we do a lot more blocking, we do a lot more dodging and evasive techniques to try to stay away from people who are already swinging strikes at you. But for now, that's where we're going to conclude this video. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.